What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of What Happened. Today, we're diving into one of the most bizarre celebrity meltdowns of 2025. And trust me when I say this, one had the entire internet scratching their heads. We're talking about Kanye West's infamous Betrayal list that literally broke social media and somehow managed to include everyone from his own daughter to a cartoon monkey. Yeah, you heard that right. So picture this. It's September 27th, 2025, and you're just scrolling through your Twitter feed, probably looking at some memes or whatever, when suddenly everyone starts talking about Kanye again. But this time, it wasn't about his music or his fashion line or even another controversial statement about politics. No, this time Kanye had done something that was so wild, so absolutely unhinged, that even his most dedicated fans were left completely speechless. Let me set the scene for you. Kanye, who's been going by Yev for a while now, posted what he called his betrayal list on Twitter. And when I say betrayal list, I mean a literal list of people and things that he felt had wronged him in some way. The post started with him saying, quote, "I am in pain that no person can fix," which honestly should have been everyone's first warning that this was about to get really weird really fast. Now, you might be thinking, okay, celebrities vent on social media all the time. Kim Kardashian probably made the list, maybe some industry people who screwed him over, right? Well, you'd be partially correct, but you'd also be completely unprepared for just how absolutely insane this list was about to get. The list had 18 names on it. 18, and it started somewhat normally with Kim Kardashian, which makes sense given their messy divorce and ongoing custody battles. Then there was Diddy, who at the time was dealing with his own legal issues, so that seemed reasonable too. Kid Cudi was on there, Pusha T, some other rappers, Pete Davidson, who dated Kim after their split. So far, so good, right? But then, things took a hard left turn into absolutely bonkers territory, because sandwiched right between some actual human beings who might have genuinely disappointed Kanye was Harriet Tubman. Yes, that Harriet Tubman, the abolitionist hero who died in 1913 and spent her life fighting slavery. Somehow, in Kanye's mind, a woman who'd been dead for over a century had personally betrayed him. And if you thought that was weird, oh boy, we're just getting started. Because also on this list was Curious George, the cartoon monkey from children's books. I'm not even kidding. Kanye West, a 48-year-old billionaire rapper and fashion designer, felt so betrayed by a fictional cartoon character that he put him on his official enemies list. But wait, there's more. Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants also made the cut. Apparently, the pink starfish from Bikini Bottom had somehow wronged Kanye in ways that warranted public call-out. And if fictional characters weren't enough, the list also included Adolf Hitler, who Kanye simply referred to as Adolf because apparently even in his most unhinged moments, he still had some sense of brevity. Now, you might be thinking, this can't get any more surreal, but then you remember this is Kanye we're talking about. Because the name that really sent the internet into absolute chaos wasn't a cartoon character or a historical figure. It was Northwest, his own 12-year-old daughter. Yes, Kanye put his preteen child on his public betrayal list and posted it for the world to see. The same daughter who had appeared in his music videos, who he'd taken on public outings with his current wife Bianca Tensori, who he claimed to love more than anything in the world. Somehow, she had made his list of people who had caused him pain that no one could fix. The internet's reaction was immediate, and it was not pretty. Even Kanye's most loyal fans were like, okay, this has gone too far. Comments started pouring in from people who couldn't believe what they were seeing. One user wrote, "His minor daughter being on there is crazy enough, but Harriet Tubman, Curious George, Patrick Star?" Another person said, "I got to Curious George and knew he wasn't to be taken seriously anymore." But here's the thing about the internet. It never lets a good meme opportunity go to waste. Within hours of Kanye's post, people started creating their own betrayal lists as a joke. The trend exploded on TikTok and Instagram, with users making parody lists that included things like Snapchat charging for memories, laser hair removal that doesn't work, fire alarms that beep at 3 a.m., and iPhone storage running out. People were using Kanye's song Runaway as the background music, turning his moment of apparent mental anguish into a collective therapy session where everyone got to air their petty grievances. The trend became so massive that it's still going strong months later. People are making betrayal lists about everything from travel annoyances to workplace frustrations. In a weird way, Kanye's breakdown became this cathartic release valve for everyone else's minor disappointments in life. But let's talk about what might have actually triggered this whole thing. The inclusion of North West wasn't random. There's been an ongoing custody battle between Kanye and Kim about their children's public image and careers. Back in 2023, Kim trademarked North West's name, saying it was to protect their child from exploitation. But Kanye saw this differently. He interpreted it as Kim trying to control and limit North's involvement in his music projects. This came to a head in 2025 when Kanye released a track called Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine that was supposed to feature North as a credited artist. According to Kanye, Kim's trademark filing was blocking the song's release. He accused her of preventing their daughter from expressing herself creatively and demanded she change the trademark. There's also been tension about North's social media presence. Kanye has repeatedly objected to North being on TikTok, saying it was happening without his consent. Kim responded by saying that as the primary caregiver, she was supervising their daughter's social media use, and that Kanye's constant public attacks were more harmful than any TikTok video North might make. So, when you look at it through that lens, North ending up on the betrayal list starts to make a twisted kind of sense. In Kanye's mind, his own daughter had somehow been turned against him by Kim and the legal system. It's heartbreaking when you think about it that way, because you're seeing a father who feels like he's losing connection with his child and doesn't know how else to express that pain. As for some of the other names, LeBron James made the list, which was interesting because they don't really have any known beef. But Kanye has made comments about LeBron in the past, suggesting that he's controlled by powerful people in ways that Kanye refuses to be. In his 2016 song Facts, he even rapped about Nike giving LeBron money to stay loyal, implying that the basketball star lacks the independence that Kanye prides himself on. The inclusion of Diddy was particularly awkward timing because this was right around when Diddy was dealing with serious legal issues and arrest. Putting him on the list at that moment felt like kicking someone when they're already down. And then there were the completely inexplicable choices. Harriet Tubman. Maybe it had something to do with Kanye's complicated relationship with Black history and his previous controversial statements about slavery. Curious George and Patrick Starr. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe he was watching cartoons with his kids and felt personally attacked by their storylines. Maybe he was making some kind of artistic statement that only made sense in his head. Or maybe he was just in such a dark place mentally that even fictional characters felt like they were mocking him. The scariest part about all of this is that it wasn't Kanye's first betrayal list. He had posted a similar one earlier in March 2025, though it had slightly different names. This suggests that he's been sitting on these feelings for months, constantly updating his mental list of people who he believes have wronged him. Within hours of posting the list, Kanye deleted it. But of course, the internet is forever, and screenshots had already been taken and shared thousands of times. The deletion felt like a moment of clarity, like maybe he realized he'd gone too far, especially with including North. But with Kanye, you never really know if he's having a moment of self-awareness or if someone from his team just got control of his phone. The whole incident really highlighted how social media can amplify someone's mental health struggles in real time. Here's a person who clearly seemed to be in genuine emotional pain, reaching out in the most public and destructive way possible. Instead of getting help or talking to a therapist or even just calling a friend, he posted his innermost feelings of betrayal for millions of people to see and judge. What made it even more tragic is that some of the people on his list were probably people who actually cared about him. Kim, despite all their issues, is still the mother of his children and has repeatedly said she wants what's best for him. Kid Cudi was once one of his closest friends and collaborators. These weren't random enemies. These were people who had been important parts of his life at various points. The betrayal list also came during a particularly chaotic period for Kanye's public image. Throughout 2025, he'd been sharing disturbing personal details about his childhood, making bizarre claims about family members, and subjecting his wife Bianca to public scrutiny by constantly dressing her in provocative outfits. The list felt like the culmination of a year-long pattern of increasingly erratic behavior. But here's what's really wild about the whole situation. Despite how obviously unhinged the betrayal list was, it somehow managed to capture the cultural moment perfectly. People related to the feeling of being let down by others, even if they couldn't relate to publicly naming a cartoon monkey as their enemy. The trend it sparked became this weird form of collective therapy where everyone got to playfully express their own disappointments and frustrations. In a strange way, Kanye's breakdown became everyone else's breakthrough. People were making betrayal lists about everything from airlines losing their luggage to streaming services removing their favorite shows. It turned a moment of genuine mental health crisis into a shared cultural experience about the minor betrayals we all face in daily life. The whole thing also raised serious questions about celebrity culture and social media. When someone with millions of followers posts something like this, what's our responsibility as viewers? Are we supposed to be concerned about their mental health, or is it okay to turn their pain into memes? The fact that it became a viral trend suggests that most people chose option 2. And that brings us to where we are now. Months later, the betrayal list trend is still going strong on social media. People are still making their own lists, still using Kanye's breakdown as inspiration for their own comedic content. Kanye himself has been relatively quiet since then, maybe finally getting the help he clearly needed. As for Northwest, she's probably just trying to be a normal 12-year-old, which has got to be incredibly difficult when your father is publicly airing his grievances about you to millions of strangers. Kim has continued to try to shield their children from the worst of Kanye's public outbursts, but there's only so much you can do when someone is determined to make their private family drama into a public spectacle. The whole betrayal list saga perfectly encapsulates why Kanye remains one of the most fascinating and frustrating figures in popular culture. He's capable of creating incredible art and having genuine insights about creativity and culture, but he's also capable of publicly naming his own child as someone who has betrayed him, right alongside fictional cartoon characters and historical figures. Looking back on it now, the betrayal list feels like a perfect snapshot of where we are as a society. Someone's mental health crisis becomes viral content. Genuine pain gets turned into memes. And somehow, through all the chaos and confusion, people find a way to connect with each other over shared experiences of disappointment and frustration. Whether Kanye meant for his list to become a cultural phenomenon, or if he was just having a very public breakdown, we'll probably never know. But one thing's for sure, the internet took his moment of apparent despair and turned it into something that brought people together, even if it wasn't in the way he probably intended. So, that's the story of Kanye West's betrayal list. A moment of celebrity mental health crisis that somehow became a viral trend, a family drama that turned into a cultural touchstone, and a reminder that in the age of social media, no breakdown is too personal to become public entertainment. What do you think about the whole betrayal list situation? Was it concerning celebrity behavior that we should have taken more seriously, or just another example of Kanye being Kanye? And more importantly, what would be on your betrayal list? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more deep dives into the wildest moments in pop culture. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.